Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and gentlemen, thank you for being here with us this morning. Dr. Volz, how many of the viable U.S. commercial providers for satellite data do you intend to bring under contract in the next 3 to 5 years?
That's a very open-ended question. Depends on resources. It depends on how many actually apply for a particular, if we go out with an RFP or a...
How many do you need to bring under? How many do you want to bring under?
I'm more concerned with getting a data flow, to getting the operational data I need. So if I get, we go through with an approach, a pilot approach, and we find one vendor that has the quality set of information that we need, then we can use, that meets our criteria and that is financially viable, that's a satisfactory result for me. If I get 3 or 4 competing and they're all providing something that I can afford to support several because I need the data from several, I can support that as well, subject to availability of funds and the cost points on these vendors.
Okay. Has NOAA done a cost-benefit analysis of gap mitigation alternatives to determine which ones are likely to be the most effective and worthy of investment?
When we went through the gap analysis and the exercises in 2011, 12, and 13, we had a report called the Riverside Report, which I imagine you've already read, which identified a number of mitigation approaches to lessen the impact of loss of a major asset. We selected a number of those to complete. We did not do and have been executing on those mitigation approaches. We did not do an allocation of 1 through N to say which is the most effective and the least effective, but we saw they applied to different areas of our observing system, and we've applied the ones that were possible to affect, and we have been working on those.
Why do you not see the need to do the mitigation to look at the most effective?
I would say that we did that in I wouldn't say ad hoc, but in a best effort approach. It's hard to do an assessment of a particular measurement. What's the benefit of that to an integrated global model, which relies on multiple inputs to say. So I would say probably the difficulty of doing a cost-benefit analysis when the output is the value of a weather product, which, you know, 3 to 5 day or 3 to 7 day forecast, it's very hard to quantify the value of that from a cost of approach. We do look at the efficacy of those approaches. Is it a necessary part to address a particular measurement capability? And we did prioritize. We put our effort and our attempts into working on those more importantly.
Sure. As a general aviation pilot myself, I can tell you that the accuracy of that data and the ability to look out and get those accurate forecasts, both near term and long term, are important. Have any studies been performed on the costs, benefits, and trade-offs between different potential launch dates for the later satellites, such as GOES-U or for JPSS-4?
Yes, sir, and that points to the excellent point that Mr. Powner brought up, is that what can we do in the latter years if once we get to a robust state, which is accomplished by getting GOES-R and GOES-S launched, do we have to launch GOES-T and U on a rapid time frame? And the answer is probably not. We would launch on need at some point when we get to that. So we've looked at, there are two comparisons here. One is the cost of storage, if we build and then store, and the other is the cost impacts of delaying the development. And we have done the assessments, and based on industry assessments and industry models of the efficiency of building in a rapid sequence is more effective in terms of buying the parts and getting the workforce engaged and buying down the risk of the implementation than building one, waiting a few years, building a second, and building a third. So we actually have seen that the examples from aerospace and from other industry examples of the efficiency of build first, launch later if necessary, has a certain cost benefit from the build and development cycle, and a significant risk benefit because you buy down the risk by building them all at the same time when you have the parts and the availability and the engineering.
Okay, all right. Earlier this year, your office hosted a community engagement workshop to inform outside groups in the commercial sector of progress NOAA has made for incorporating commercial technologies, and this week you hosted another such event. What updates occurred between the previous workshop held in April and the one this week? What did you learn?
In the April workshop, we talked mostly about principles, about the engagement desires, what we would like to do going into the future. In the workshop we had just this week, we spent a great deal of time talking about the actual process by which we would use data, how data are used from observation to services and products, so that we were very clear and very articulate in trying to explain, we'll determine how articulate it was, depending on the feedback, to explain how the data are used in our systems and how different vendors can tailor their business models to deliver data to us at different places in our value chain.
Okay. Are you talking to individual companies as well to get a broader perspective?
We have gone out with RFIs asking for inputs on particular measurement types. We've gone out with RFIs recently, just in August, about technology, next generation technology approaches that they think are worthy of investment or are ready for application, ready for prime time as operational. We have not, in terms of the overall engagement, we have talked on a one-on-one basis. I have not, but some of my staff has on where they keeping us informed on where they are in their development cycle and where we are in our process cycle. In general, I'm trying to talk to them all at once so that we have these workshops on a regular basis so they all see, everybody can see where we are as we move forward.
Okay, all right. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.